Most people think the highest level of discipline is waking up early and getting a lot done, or maintaining a perfect streak of habits without ever breaking it. But in reality, that is only the lowest level of discipline, the level where you have to use willpower to fight against yourself. At that stage, every action comes with an internal negotiation. One part of you wants comfort, another part wants progress, and you stand in the middle trying to force yourself toward the right choice. It is exhausting, it drains your energy, and it always carries the risk of collapse the moment your willpower runs out. I have seen people feel proud for waking up at 5 a.m. for 30 days straight. Then on day 31, they fail and suddenly believe they lack discipline. But the problem is not weak willpower. The problem is how they built their discipline. They built it on resistance. They used willpower like a whip to control themselves. But humans are not meant to live in constant conflict with themselves. Sooner or later, the easier side wins. A higher level begins when that internal battle disappears, when you no longer clearly separate what you have to do from what you want to do, when action becomes a flow with no force and no negotiation. From the outside, people call you disciplined, but inside, it does not feel like discipline at all. You are simply doing what in that moment there is no reason not to do. So how do you reach that state? Most self-help advice says to start small, stay consistent, and build habits. That is useful at the beginning, but it does not free you from the internal struggle. To go further, you need something deeper, not a change in behavior, but a change in how you experience behavior. I call it the full consequence loop. Your brain learns from consequences. If a behavior feels good, your brain wants to repeat it. If it feels bad, your brain avoids it. But most people never experience consequences fully. They stop at the pleasant part. Take a simple example, scrolling social media. You open your phone and it feels good at first, but if you stay long enough, the feeling changes. After a while, the excitement fades, then comes restlessness. Eventually, you realize you have wasted time, and what remains is emptiness and fatigue. The problem is you rarely stay long enough to feel that. You switch to something else, or tell yourself it's fine. The loop gets cut short. Your brain only learns the short-term reward, never the long-term cost. The full consequence loop requires something simple but difficult. Stay with the consequence. No justification, no distraction, no self-soothing, just observe. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, but after a few repetitions, something shifts. Your brain starts linking the behavior to its real outcome, not through logic, but through emotion. When that link becomes strong enough, you don't need to force yourself to stop. You naturally lose interest. You don't need rules or restrictions. You simply don't want it anymore. This is what most discipline systems miss. They try to control behavior from the outside, using schedules, apps, rewards, and punishments. But they don't address the root. The root is that you still believe the behavior is beneficial. You still think it helps you relax or reduces pressure. Those beliefs come from experiencing only half the loop. This method does not require you to stop immediately. You can continue the behavior, but with one condition. You must stay with the feeling after it ends. Let that feeling teach you. I have seen this work with many habits, like overeating, staying up late, and procrastination. The pattern is always the same: short-term reward followed by long-term cost. If you pay attention long enough, that cost becomes impossible to ignore. There's a powerful idea worth remembering. You cannot solve a problem at the same level of thinking that created it. Most people try to fix discipline using the same mindset that caused the problem, adding more tools, more plans, more control. But those only work on the surface. The full consequence loop goes deeper. It changes how you see the behavior itself. You begin to realize that what you thought was a reward is not really a reward, and what you thought was avoiding pain is actually creating more pain. And when your belief changes, your behavior follows without force. I know someone who used this to change his habit of waking up late. He didn't set alarms or push himself harder. Instead, every time he overslept, he paid attention to how he felt afterwards, not the comfort in bed, but the feeling later, the rush, the fatigue, the sense of falling behind. He stayed with those feelings instead of avoiding them. After a couple of weeks, his brain began to link oversleeping with having a bad day, not logically, but emotionally. And the result was simple. He started waking up earlier without effort. That's the key difference. Traditional discipline is about resisting desire. The highest level is when the desire disappears. You don't need willpower to reject something you no longer want. The real problem is not the behavior itself, it's that you still want it. And the way to stop wanting it is to fully experience the cost of having it. This is hard because your natural instinct is to escape discomfort. You scroll and feel empty, so you keep scrolling. You stay up late and feel tired, so you promise to fix it later. You procrastinate and feel guilty, so you justify it. All of this cuts the loop short, and that's why you stay stuck. To break this pattern, you need a clear decision. This time, you don't run. You stay with the discomfort. You feel it fully. It will not be pleasant, but after a few times, you'll notice a shift. The discomfort starts attaching itself to the behavior, and one day you realize you no longer want to do it. When you apply this across different habits, you begin to see a pattern. What you call relaxation is often just delaying discomfort, and that delay doesn't reduce it, it makes it grow. The longer you delay, the higher the price. Once you truly see this, your behavior changes naturally. You act sooner, not because you are forcing yourself, but because you understand that doing it now is easier than paying the cost later. At that point, discipline is no longer disciplined. It becomes clarity. You see things so clearly that you can't choose wrong. Just like you don't need willpower to avoid touching fire. You know it will hurt, and that's enough. If you want to reach this state, stop looking for more discipline hacks. Start observing. The next time you do something you know is not good for you, don't try to stop. Do it, but stay with the consequence. Don't run. Let the experience teach you. After a few times, you won't need reminders or effort. Other people will call you disciplined, but you are simply doing what has become obvious. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe to Level Up 365 for more daily insights.